Welcome everybody, welcome. Thanks for tuning in to the 8th episode of the StreamDream podcast. Tonight, as most of you are aware, we have with us an absolutely awesome guest. His name is Mo, aka the 40YearOldPainter. Mo, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing lovely, my dude. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you. A little bit warm actually, so my missus has got the central heating on, so I'm a little bit warm. But other than that, I'm good. So, how'd your day?
Well, I'm
been?
just trying to figure out if you're in the doghouse or not here.
No, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good, man. So how's your day been so far?
It's been lovely. I had a fantastic day. I went out to a farmer's market this morning
Okay.
with my lady friend and her daughter, and we went out. There's fresh produce and this all sorts of craft makers things, and we went and spent some money, had a nice time out in the sun, and it was very lovely. And got a couple nice pictures on the way back of some Alberta canola fields.
That's fantastic. So you got nice weather right now. It's just a little bit grey and horrible here, but I'm glad somebody's got nice sunshine. So let's get straight into it, Mo. So what we're going to do, first of all, tell myself and the viewers a little bit about yourself.
You bet. So my name is Mo, aka the 40YearOldPainter, which is a play on the 40-year-old virgin. That's why the stream name is titled that. I'm a engineer by trade. And prior to that, I was a researcher in the science field. So I've had multiple career path changes in life. Let me see. I love the creative side of life, and I've been spending a lot of time kind of developing that recently. I like to ride motorcycles. I like to be out and about in the sunshine, and I have a love for community and being inspired and inspiring people around me to enjoy life.
That's fantastic. So you had two very different career paths then, like you said. So obviously researching and engineering. What sort of engineering was that?
Electrical engineer.
Okay, that's fantastic. Right, okay, so we got a few people in the chat already saying hello. We got Herding Nomad saying Mo.
Oh, hey, Herding.
Mellow Marshmallow saying Mo again. Lonnie and Luke and Reese both saying hi.
Yes, hi, Mellow. Mellow and I met recently, and Herding Nomad has been a fantastic friend and follower of the channel for a very long time. What's lovely about Herding is I ask people to do art while I'm doing the stream, kind of to have an art buddy stream.
Okay.
Herding's always up in his studio doing something interesting and popping pictures up in Discord. So.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so what was it? No, sorry. How long roughly have you been a streamer then?
Let's see here. I started in late November of 2019, so that's November, December. Let's say about 7 or 8 months, Chris.
That's awesome, and you've already got. Obviously, I've been in your streams myself. I come in as often as I can.
Sure.
Obviously, you've got pretty good, a pretty good following and things. Then, so obviously, you're an affiliate on Twitch.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in 6 or 7 months, you've obviously built up pretty well. You're doing pretty well for yourself.
Thank you very much. I always say the power of one. As long as one person is inspired, watching or following, that's lovely. And to have more than one is just a fantastic blessing.
That's absolutely true. That's completely true. So obviously you've only been doing it a relatively short time. So what was it that got you into streaming in the first place?
All right, good question, Chris. So I'll be honest on certain levels, or on all levels, and I'll share. So I got into streaming to get a mechanism going to make sure that I'm accountable to myself to doing art on the regular. And in doing so, in streaming, in building a community, I'm accountable to that community as well. So I try not to let down the community, and in doing so, inspire myself to make sure that I'm doing art on the regular.
Okay.
I have a huge passion for art, and I thought streaming was a fantastic way to try to inspire people to have the confidence, and just literally or simply the inspiration to look at the world in an artistic way. And what I do is try to champion a little bit of being confident, trying different things,
Yeah.
and accepting that there's always growth, and challenge people to kind of look at the world in different ways.
That's fantastic. It's a great answer. But I've obviously, for myself, you were the first art streamer I've ever seen. So I'd never even thought about that before. I'd never thought that artists would be streaming. So when I came in, I was like, wait, hang on, what's going on here? So I looked. There was a bit, your sketch pad front, and then your camera. That is an absolute awesome thing. I love that. The fact that we can see you and you're interacting, and then we can see what you're doing at the same time. It's pretty cool, to be fair. I love that side of things. I love when some streamers will have maybe they'll be sat playing a game and then they'll have a camera from behind them so you can see what they're doing there. I love sort of different angles and different perspectives on things, so it's a really cool idea.
Yeah. Not to kind of pigeonhole myself into an age group, but it's unprecedented that, and Twitch has been around for a long time, okay? And I will say that it's such a gem of a thing, this art community, Chris. This maker or creative community, not just art.
Yeah.
And I'll even extend that to gaming and IRL. And I'll say it's such a gem of a thing that you can literally look over an artist's shoulder to see what they're doing in real time, ask them a question about it, whether it's technique, inspiration, whatever it is. I mean, imagine going into a library or a coffee shop and just poking over somebody's shoulder working on something, and what their reaction would be, or whether they'd be willing to share information. Probably not, because you're a stranger, right?
Of course.
I mean, that's the beauty of this platform, is it facilitates somebody from Ireland, somebody from Russia, somebody from the UK, wherever it is, to actually look over your shoulder, see what you're doing, and maybe be inspired or not. Yeah. I mean, or they may not like your work, but still learn nonetheless.
Exactly. But no, I'm a huge fan. Obviously, I watch 2 art streamers now, because when I found you, I was like, I want to watch more of this, because I'm not good at art myself. I'm pretty terrible, to be fair, but I enjoy seeing good art, if you know what I mean. So yeah. I always enjoy. There's yourself I watch, and there's another lady from Australia somewhere. But she doesn't stream.
Jen's Wild? Jen's Wild about art.
Yes, it is. It is
an Australian lady. Have you watched her game?
I have watched her game, and yeah, she's pretty nuts, and she laughs a lot.
Yeah,
she's pretty cool. But anyway, this is about you tonight, my friend, not about anybody else. So
yeah.
Right, okay, so obviously that's what got you into streaming. The next question then, really, are there any streamers who influenced you? So maybe we could flip that to any artists who influence you?
Okay, sure. As far as streamers that influenced me, that's an interesting question. I enjoy, although I don't play or participate too much into games like Apex or PUBG, I love watching Dr. Disrespect.
Okay.
As far as influencing, I mean, that fella is, although, there's stuff going on right now, that persona that he has is just so ridiculously hilarious.
It is.
And it actually kind of ties in some way. We chat about wrestling a lot. I
We
mean,
do.
he's kind of like a villain slash hero of wrestling in his persona, right?
He is,
And I
yeah.
think that, right? So, uh, Dr. Disrespect, I just enjoy watching.
You enjoy.
I mean, sitting down and seeing the shenanigans he gets up to.
Yeah.
Smacetron is a game streamer. He has that wicked helmet that he wears all the time.
Yeah.
He plays PUBG as well. Although I like watching the streamers, the games that they might play are almost secondary, right? For
Yeah.
me,
Yeah, yeah.
fun watching a great game.
Yeah, I
If you know Mizkif,
I've
he's
heard.
a younger fella. I think he's on an interesting adventure. He has kind of really rocketed into stardom on Twitch, and it's just interesting watching a young fella go through that
It is.
and kind of pour his life into his stream. XQC,
Okay, yeah.
although half the time I can't understand what he says, it's just a disaster, and it's fun to watch a train wreck happen.
It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. Right,
And
so
sorry, as far as artists that are influential, I'd say so. What I really enjoy is a form of art called abstract expressionism.
okay.
Abstract is basically, just to share with people, abstract art is about using visual means of like color, shape, and form in a way that might not necessarily represent the realistic world that we're in. So you're using abstract techniques to represent the world in a different way.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of really figureheads in that, like Jackson Pollock, Mark Rothko. Those are artists that I really enjoy their work, and they were figureheads in the 40s and the 50s for what was called the abstract expressionism movement.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So do you like sort of base your work on stuff they've done, or is it just their style?
I like their style.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I will say that it's hard to not be influenced by other people in anything that you do, right?
It is. It's true.
But I'll be honest in that what comes out of me is it's automatic. I'm not looking at somebody's style and saying I would like to emulate that. I'm looking at somebody's style, and if it gets emotion out of me and gets me interested, great. But am I going to draw like them? No.
Right.
Because I could use it as inspiration, but in my automatic style, it's not happening. It's the emotion, the concept comes out of me in real time, and I think that's why whomever is part of the community and comes to watch the art, I think maybe they enjoy that.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people say, Mo, how do you do this? And like, how do you get that imagination? And it's really not caring about what anybody else thinks, subscribing to some rules, Chris, and some ideas, and then letting them just come straight from the mind out onto the paper.
So that's pretty much spot on. A little example of that then, right? From when I was in school, obviously we had to do art lessons, maybe like twice a week, I think it was. So I remember one day they took us outside onto where the school rugby pitches were and things. So the teacher was like, right, today we're going to do sort of quick thinking art. So she was like, right, look around you and draw something that you see around you, or maybe something that's around you that gives you an idea. So we were sat pretty close to trees. So I saw 2 or 3 squirrels jumping about the trees. So straight away I thought, you know what, I'm going to draw a serial killer squirrel. So it was a really terrible drawing, okay, but it was basically a squirrel with a big, huge, massive, bushy tail covered in blood, and he had a knife in his hand. So that was, honest to God, the first thing that came to my, and my teacher loved it. And I was like, why do you like it so much? It's crap. But she was like, no, the idea is tremendous. What made you think of it? And I was like, well, I just saw squirrels chasing each other. and I just pictured one of them chasing after the others with a with a knife. So that's where that came from. But yeah, what comes into your mind, you sort of draw, don't you? I think so.
She put her hand on your shoulder and guided you to the therapist's office, right?
She should have done. I think. Yeah, I think she that would have been a good thing for me. I think. But right, what I'm thinking, Mo, is obviously you're sat now where you stream, yeah. So where all your art stuff is.
Sorry, could you say that again? I'm
Yeah,
hard of hearing.
Yeah, so right now you're sat at where you stream, yeah? So you got all your paper and things there?
Yep.
Right, okay. So what I'd like if you can do is draw something throughout the duration of this podcast, and then you can reveal that at the end. So just literally something completely random, and you know, just like a sort of subconscious drawing then, if you like, and we can show that to everybody at the end. Right, the next question I've got for you actually is for your stream-wise, what equipment is it that you use?
Honestly, from streaming perspective, I try to keep things simple, Chris.
Yeah.
I have a Microsoft Surface, the vanilla one, like the basic one, not the high-end high-end one. And there's days that I regret not having the high-end one when many things are happening. But it's a Microsoft Surface, so I'm using the camera from the Surface for the face cam. And then, as you can see right over here, I have the workhorse of the streaming industry, the C920 from Logitech. And that's what's facing down onto the art. And that's it. What you don't see is the art supply explosion that my living room table, and that's for me to deal with, not for you guys to deal with. But and then when I game, Chris, I'll either pop a PS4 game in and do a stream on there, or I have a i7 PC that I use for Photoshop and gaming.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that one's, you know, got like a decent video card in it, and
So pretty much then, sort of your sort of niche then, if you like, is obviously with the art. For anybody out there that is aspiring to be a art streamer, you don't really need sort of top equipment, do you? As long as you got a decent computer, maybe a webcam or two, and a great personality, and some pen and paper, you're good to go, I think, and you.
You betcha.
Pretty much.
In fact, Chris, there's a fella named Manu from Argentina who I recently met.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal artist. He came to my stream. He was asking questions. How do you do this? And I'm like, do you have a cell phone? He's like, yeah. I said, do it through your cell phone.
Insane.
And he did. He started streaming about a week later, and he's doing awesome. But it's as simple as that, Chris. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Of course it is. That's absolutely correct. Right, okay. So, obviously, as anyone who's watched this podcast before is aware, most of my questions are usually gaming related. So, obviously, Mo doesn't stream games that much, but I'm still going to ask these questions anyway, okay? Because I want to get a feel for your game in mind, then, if you like. So, there's I got a thing that I like to do called Fast Five. So it's basically 5 questions. And hopefully you're going to answer them pretty quick. I'll need a explanation for some of them, but it's mostly just sort of quick fire answers, okay? Also, viewers, if you want to ask Mo any questions, please pop them in the chat. If you can highlight them, that would be awesome. If not, I'll find them. So preferably highlighted, but if you can't for whatever reason, don't worry about that. So there's the first of Fast 5 then. So would you prefer to have 50 follows or 5 subs?
Easy. 50 follows.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Hands down.
Right, okay. Second one is, if you could have one celebrity come to follow you and be an active member of your chat and your community, who would it be and why?
Oh, okay. Okay, you said active in chat. So I was going to ask you if they were living or
they can,
or not.
They can be deceased, like just sort of in an ideal world, then, if you like.
Let me see. there was one celebrity. I'm gonna have to say it would have to be Bill Murray.
Really? Oh, fantastic. What's the reasoning for
He's
that?
a Canadian actor, a comedian, hilarious guy.
Yes, fantastic. Right, okay. Right, obviously as a game question then, if you could only
Yeah,
play one game for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
these are interesting questions. One game, rest of my life. Okay, it's got to have all the aspects of gaming that I like. Well, that's it's kind of actually easy. World of Warcraft.
Warcraft. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because it's got PvP, it's got multiplayer, it's got questing, leveling, all that. So
Play-
World of Warcraft, which I don't want to tell you what my slash played was when I was in my 20s.
No, I wish I could get into World of Warcraft. It looks insane, but I just can't do it. I played RuneScape a bit when I was younger, if you've heard of that.
Okay.
I think it's a similar sort of game,
Okay.
but I love that. I absolutely hammered that game. That's probably why I came out of school with less qualifications than I should have done, maybe. But oh well, I enjoyed myself.
Yeah. As we used to say, C's get degrees, right?
That's right. That's correct. Right. Okay. Next are the Fast Five. What is the most viewers you've had at one point, and what was your reaction?
I'd say maybe about 40 viewers. I had about maybe 10, and I got rated by about 30.
Fantastic.
And so it was fantastic. I mean, it's so much fun meeting new people. I just invite them to introduce themselves, say hi, or lurk if they need to.
Yeah.
And oh, it's just so much fun having like a rush of new people come in. And so we'll just say the art community scales differently than the video gaming community. In like if you've got 200 200 viewers in an art stream, you've got like you're probably at the top of the art. Now there's cross-platform ones like Lily Pichu that have 1,000 because she does art, but she's also an IRL multi-talented streamer.
Yeah.
But really, the numbers scale quite a bit. But get back to the point, it was fantastic.
It's awesome.
It's just so much fun, especially when both artists and non-artists come in. We just have a hoot.
That's actually spot on because, like I said, I've come into your stream. I'm not a artist myself. I don't try and be an artist. I'm absolutely dreadful with a pencil or paintbrush. So for me to come in and watch your streams and watch what you're doing, it's sort of for me. Obviously, I like to speak to you as well because you're a super nice guy. But I also think I'm watching you draw or whatever you're doing, and I'm like, do you know what? I wish I could do that. And I sort of get my kicks from watching you do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm doing all the hard work here.
yeah, pretty much. Right. Okay. So the last of the Fast Five then is, have you had any griefers in your chat, and what did you do about it? So people coming in being a dick, basically.
Yeah, I gotcha. Griefers. Okay, so the honest to a God truth about that is the community that we have on the channel are just cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Like the nicest people, you included, everybody that I know from the art community as well as the non-artist community that come to say hi. So, however, I did get raided once, and unfortunately the lady that raided me had some lurking pretty bad trolls come over.
Okay.
And it took me about a minute, like 30 seconds to figure out this is not raid banter of trolling. And I just I told them this isn't in the spirit of what this channel is about. I'm sorry to ban you, and they were banned.
Yeah.
And I do have a pretty long fuse, but what they were saying was hurtful, and they were bullying the streamer that raided me, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, and look, that's an interesting question because we do agree that trolling is inherent to Twitch. Like it's part
Yes.
of you're trying to test the streamer, and it's part of the acceptance of the streamer. Like, but when it's hurtful and harmful, there's no place for that on my channel.
I completely agree with you. So straight out the window. See you later.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'll give them an opportunity to apologize, but if it's totally hurtful to anybody in our community, but there's no room for that.
Yeah. See you later. All the best to you. Yeah, I fully agree with you. Well, so congratulations, you did pretty well with the Fast 5. There wasn't much overthinking, so that's fantastic. So you've done pretty well there. So what we're going to do now is go to viewers' questions. So we've got a few in the chat already.
Okay, great.
The first one actually was pretty early in the podcast. It was off. It's my buddy actually, a guy called Luke and Reese. He said, "Any advice for new streamers?"
Sure. Take it from one that is still relatively new. Okay. First of all, do we agree that? Well, okay. Some of us believe that time is the most valuable thing we can share with somebody, and whether you eventually get to that realization or not, let's think about that. So if somebody's going to give you their time by being part of your community, come and seeing you, you have to think about what value are you giving them. So if you don't have some sort of value to give, step back before you stream. Think about, like, what am I going to give? Am I going to give happiness, instruction, guidance, just distraction from the real world, or everything? Think about that, and then have some confidence. Grab a camera. Don't go out and spend 1,000 quid for you, Chris and friends, on a system. Test out the waters. See if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And please just be yourself.
That's true enough. That.
Let's not look at the streaming community for validation. Just be yourself.
I completely agree with you.
It's really that simple.
I completely agree with you there. So I've been in some streams and there's been people there, and they've been, unless it's maybe a role play stream or something where people are being someone else, if you like.
Sure.
I've been in some streams and people are just, you can tell, you just can see it straight through them that they're putting on this persona. I've actually seen one guy once. He was there, he was being this super nice guy and like some of the kindest words you've ever heard, and then he said, "Right guys, be right back." He put his be right back screen on, but he double clicked it, so obviously he went to that screen and sort of quickly came back, and then he turned.
He was still live.
He was still live, so basically he clicked on the be right back and come straight back to his sort of main screen with his camera, and he'd muted himself, but you could see him absolutely screaming at, I'm assuming maybe his wife or his children or someone in the room. He was there and he picked up something and flung it at them, and he literally he was sat on about 55, 60 viewers, and as soon as he sort of came back and he was like, "Oh guys, sorry, I completely forgot that I didn't switch my screens over," he thought he'd got away with it, so he came back, his view was just literally dipped in half in no time. So yeah, just be yourself guys, don't be a faker then, if you like. But that's a good question, Luke, and thanks for that, mate. Our next question is from my other buddy, Lonnie Bluebird.
Hi, Lonnie.
She says, "What are your top 3 things to paint?"
What are my top 3 things to paint? So if I am going to do a painting, I'm typically doing something with. So I mentioned that I like to paint more on the abstract side. I think if I'm going to paint something, it's either going to be a portrait. So it doesn't have to be a portrait of a real person. So it'd be a portrait. The second thing that I would like to paint is some sort of like form with color, like an emotional expression in painting, where I'm trying to figure out, I've got an emotion that I'm feeling, and I'm trying to figure out how to represent it in either a form or colors or a concept.
Yeah.
And the third thing I would probably try to paint is a hyper realistic something.
Okay.
And that could be anything. So, in keeping to the creative realm, I try to like think about the technique and not focus on the end result.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to go, I want to paint a dog today. I'm going to be like, I want to express something. It might include a dog or a portrait.
Yeah.
So it's maybe a different spin on what I would like to paint the most.
That's also answer.
But good question.
That's a very good question as well. I believe Lonnie's a painter herself, but not the same kind as you. She decorates people's houses. That's her job. She's got a business there, so that's what she does. So you sort of got something in common, I think.
So she's cutting. She'll probably know what I say when she spends her time cutting a lot. Because I know a friend of mine who does painting. They do the cutting, which is the top where the walls meet, and
cutting in. I think in the UK we call it cutting in. I think.
Cutting in.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more or less same thing. Yeah. But that's a great question once again, and a great answer. The next question is, bear with me a second. There's been quite a bit of chat. It's off Lonnie once again. If you ever paint real life subjects, what body shape do you prefer to paint?
What shape do I prefer to paint?
Yeah, if you ever paint real life subjects, what body shape do you prefer to paint?
Wow, that's a great question. I will say whatever, like, I don't have a body type that I think I'm going to draw.
Right.
That's quite interesting. Like, I kind of look at, if I'm doing a person's body, I'm looking at proportion. So if I start a shoulder in one way, I kind of draw what makes sense for how I'm feeling or how I'm trying to represent the character. So I would challenge and say all body shapes.
Yeah.
Which is true to life.
That's fantastic. Right, okay, do we have any more? There's been a lot of chat. Right, so we got Mike the Potato and DJ Scalzo have come in to say hi.
Hi, Dave.
Lucan, who asked the first questions, actually said thank you. He looks forward to getting going. So he's also asked, are there any games that any types of games that you'd recommend for streaming? Is that maybe something you can answer?
That is, you know what's actually a lot of fun is indies, streaming independent games.
I completely agree.
So if you're asking about like what games for streaming, I think you're going to build a special community with indie games because they're not looking for the polish. They're not looking for the same sort of reproduced quote unquote garbage that gets released when it should be like it should technically be a beta, Borderlands 3. I'm just saying, like, you're going to get a really unique community. So look at things like, I don't know, Terraria, World of Goo, and classics. Classics are making a big comeback. Yep. Like Mizkif is playing N64 speed runs. I mean, that system is it's fantastic, but it's 15 years old.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I think if you're trying to build a community, and who was the question from? Sorry.
It was from Luke and Reese.
Yeah, Luke. I think if you want to build a unique community, think about maybe an independent game. See who comes in and get them. See if they buy in and they come back.
Yep. I completely
Don't
agree.
go necessarily. There's a misnomer, quality over quantity, right? So yeah, you're gonna get a million people watching GTA, or 100,000, or a million people watching Escape from Tarkov and everything that's getting released. But if you want quantity, go for those games, perhaps.
Yeah.
If you want quality and you want kind of well-rounded community, maybe indies.
I completely agree. So a little example then. Obviously, myself, I stream games. Every time I've streamed Call of Duty, FIFA, Pro Evolution Soccer, they've not particularly been great streams. As in, I've sort of been there most of them, sat on myself, with maybe one or two people popping in every now and again. You know. I streamed other games. So there's a new fishing game out, which I was given by the developers. And that is probably my best streaming game right now, and it's an indie game. The developer will look after you, so if you tweet that you're playing their game and you're streaming it, they sort of go nuts for it and they'll retweet it, and that next thing you know, you sat on 20-30 viewers. So that's a great bit of advice. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I remember watching you play Carpe, and we were chatting about what you pulled out of the lake there, and I met some really fun people. That's a great game because it's relaxing. It's open to just chatting. So
another thing about that game as well, you sort of cast out your rod, and say for example my chat was completely popping, I can actually look at my chat for a bit, interact. Like some games you were playing, you sat there, you can't take your eyes off your screens. You're sitting there and then you're like, with fishing, I can cast out my 3 rods, I can sit there, I can have a chat, I can have a bit of fun with the viewers, and then I'll reel something in and do it all again. So it's a great little choice. Right, okay, do we have any more questions in the chat? I think I've covered them all right now. If there's any more, guys, please get them in. No.
Oh, I see Luke was asking, no, he knows that, but what type of games? I think to start, Luke, like more slower paced games might actually be better for meeting your community. So actually, Mike the Potato mentioned Subnautica. That's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
Slower paced. That's a good recommendation, actually, Mike. Where you can interact with people, because let's face it, as I mentioned, like, what value are you bringing in? Trying to make people feel good, engaging your community, having some funny things happen on stream, which happen all the time in games, non-gaming. And yeah, because if you've got a fast-paced game, you're going to pay less attention to the community.
Yeah.
And it's not right or wrong. It is what it is. So you're going to pay less attention, and I guess if it's a popular game, they'll probably stay because they're just watching you. Think about that.
I completely agree. Right, so there's still time for you to get your questions in, guys, if any of you have any more you'd like to ask. But for now, because there's none there right this second, what we're going to do now is Mo has kindly brought along some of his past artwork, and he's going to show myself and you guys some of that work right now. So I don't know how many you've got on you, but I'm looking forward to seeing them.
So thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you thinking about that. For people that are not familiar with my art, right now Can I swear on this stream?
You fucking crack on.
No. I can crack on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like a pig in shit. With like inks and color work and Copics. So I'll just show you quickly kind of the stuff that I do. So this was from a dream that I had. I don't know if it's coming up okay.
That's awesome.
But this is from a dream that I had where I'm using inks and Copics. It's to represent kind of a biomechanical panther that I saw in a dream from like a collapsed society. It was kind of on a collapse built like skyscraper, post-apocalyptic.
That's
I
fantastic.
really enjoy cyberpunk, and I've just started doing some character development for a few characters.
That's awesome.
Um, I try to bring in color. This was in memory of my mother. This was on Mother's Day. As you can tell, it's a stormtrooper. Um, it's got a lot of flowers and colors that my mom loved, and kind of did this on Mother's Day. Uh, Mech work. I love ink and shading.
That's awesome.
Uh, this is this bunny over here was actually inspired by a follower. He's like, try to make it a little bit funnier, like put a bear or something. I'm like, all right, let's do it. I
That's
really love
awesome.
having the community kind of engage and influence. Like, it's a live thing. Like, you can come in. I ask the community about colors. What's somebody's favorite color? All right, let's put it in.
That's awesome.
This is a Medusa that was inspired from a hike that I did here in Alberta. There was a tree that was sticking out of a sheer face of it was called Cougar Creek, and there's sheer cliffs, but the bottom of the tree was sticking out through the cliff, and
Yeah.
like the roots looked like Medusa. It looked like Medusa's head.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm like, looking at the world and trying to draw what comes up. That's part of the automatic side. And then as far as painting, Chris, I brought up, so there is painting. This is kind of so this is a painting that I did. The point of this painting is to try to cause a little bit of confusion. So, and this is like an abstract thing. So we have this really sharp tree in the front, but we have kind of the background in this kind of kaleidoscope color. So although the tree is really in focus, you're distracted by the colors and the kaleidoscope effect of the landscape behind. I try to paint or draw or do things that maybe are different, or like it would have been easy to just do a tree and then do it like, not easy, sorry. It would have been maybe perhaps expected to draw this really accurate tree and then put a nice accurate background. But I'm trying to play with people's perception and emotion. And then here's like another painting. This is more of that emotional abstract side of me.
Oh wow.
So let me, sorry, let me just put it up on the easel here.
That's all good.
So, and this is why I use the surface, because I can just go, whoop,
Yeah, pretty much.
and away we go.
That is
So
awesome.
this is, I know the lighting and everything doesn't show it, but this is more about emotion. And so to certain people, it might just look like Mo decided to do lines and colors in whatever random technique. But what you don't see here is there's a form that you can barely see of a human here,
Okay.
right? You can see the head right here, the shoulders and the chest right here. And this is about, well, you might not be able to see it on screen here, but this is, I picked the colors to express passion and anger.
Okay.
So I wanted to stay in the reds, the whites, the searing hot sort of representation of passion and anger. That was the colors that I selected, and I wanted to have a little bit of form. And I didn't just go like this. Like I'm looking at like balancing out the painting where certain things are going to cause you to think of a form. So that's the abstract
That's
side
fantastic.
of things. There are just, most people might not, they'll see me doing a lot of comic art and things, and then they'll say, "Well, you're 40-year-old painter. Why don't you do painting?" And to be, it's coming. So
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff you'll see is actually sketching for paintings,
I
and more of the illustrative style. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is kind of a very detailed sort of illustration, where this person has realized that all these TVs are representing messages that they, like what they thought were true, but inside each one of these TVs are hidden messages like, freedom is a life, but, it says freedom is a lie when you look closely.
Okay.
Those sorts of messages about the world and how we interpret the world. And in this illustration, this person's coming to terms with what they think of the world is not actually the truth.
Yeah, so it's pretty well thought out as well, and I think that last piece in particular, it doesn't seem like something you can just sort of get a pen and paper and then just go, yeah, I'm going to draw that. That's pretty well thought out, it looks like.
Yeah, and that comes from within.
It does.
Right? It's coming from, so it is thought out. I thought about how I wanted to represent the messages that I've perceived about the world.
Yeah.
And how I put them in. And let me just say one thing. This isn't I'm not a narcissist. Like in this specific case, there's personal emotion in this one.
Yeah.
There's a hidden story here, and it's called What Lies Beneath. That's the title of it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists, poets, even musicians, I think a lot of their material all sort of comes from deep within, doesn't it? Their own personal feelings. So a songwriter will write a song. To most people, you'll sort of look at it and think, oh, that's a cool song, I like them words. But to them, each word means something really personal and deep, I think, doesn't it? So it's a great way of expressing it then, I think.
This is what's really interesting about life, and I know this is only a 1 hour long podcast, so hopefully there's a part 2 where we can talk about life. But let's just say you're kind of hitting on it.
Yeah.
There is the way that the world actually is, without any perception, right? There's just the way that the world is, and then there's every human's way of perceiving their environment around them. And that's amazing, like a song, like something they read, like something they see.
Yeah.
There's a million interpretations of that one thing that makes the world beautiful and scary at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'll also share, I do soapstone carvings as well. Here's a little
oh wow,
carving that I did out of a beautiful stone. This took about 30 hours of work to try to maintain. So there's special tools that you riffle with.
Yeah.
They're called rifflers, and this is a form of soapstone. I do like more traditional forms. Like here's.
Oh, that's
here's
awesome. Is that made of wood?
Sorry?
Is that owl made out of wood there?
No, it's a stone.
Oh Christ!
That is this color. Isn't it amazing?
That's awesome. That's incredible.
You put a shine on it from just a polish, and then that brings it up and makes it glossy like wood. Here's a little penguin that I also did, and this little egg right here took me about an hour to do from a bigger piece, and before it fell a couple times, it would stand up, like he was looking at his little.
That's awesome.
His little prodigy or his little child, but now he just sits there.
That is pretty awesome. I think I've seen that once before on your stream. You went to maybe grab a drink and you sort of put that on your sketch pad. I think I remember seeing that one there. So that's awesome.
You're right.
That's fantastic.
So the point of just showing you all this is all of this is gonna come. So you're gonna see some painting. You're gonna see some soapstone carving work. All in the spirit of inspiring people to pick up a pencil, pick up a riffler, pick up a marker, and just give her.
Just go for it. You've actually just sort of answered my next question. I was going to say, are there any future plans for your stream? So pretty much all that's to come then on your stream, yeah?
Yeah, I've got to figure out a way to control the dust that is going to come along with soapstones carving. Painting, I'm going to pull everything back, put the canvas here, and then, like you said, have an over-the-shoulder cam.
Awesome. Because
I'm tall, I'm going to have to figure out how I'm not going to block the camera too much. But That's coming up, and then more gaming. I do want to game more.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to see World of Warcraft. Maybe you'll get to experience the my fate of the life suck of World of Warcraft through me rather than yourself.
Yeah. I think with World of
Warcraft
it looks a little bit too confusing. I'd rather watch people play it, I think. So hopefully
you
watch it.
Layers.
Right, okay, so the next question, and these are sort of Twitch related questions, because obviously you're a Twitch streamer then. So as a streamer, is there something that you wish that Twitch would introduce?
Good question. Okay, yep, there's a few things. I'd like their system to be more user specific. Like, if I want to see a specific genre of art, then I want to filter out videos,
yeah,
and focus on one thing. If I want to see a second playthrough of a game, then I can filter in and say, okay, this person's playing it for the second time. Let's see how good or awful they are.
Yeah.
Or if I want to see somebody from a specific part of the world streaming because I'm interested in their culture or their take on things.
Yeah.
So like a user selectable front end. So I'm not brought in with all these videos that happen to be popular at one time, right? Because that's how you move up the chain, right?
Yeah, of course.
As you know. So that's one thing. Second thing, this is by the nature of what I do, I guess, and maybe the time that I stream, if there was a universal communicator, so they did it on Star Trek, right?
Right.
I think we're almost there right now. If somebody pops something in chat in their language, it should be seamless that what pops up in my chat is in my language.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Right? And I was looking into a widget for that. So maybe I actually might have given away a lucrative idea, but hey, this is my spirit, right?
Yeah.
But if they could just have it so that I don't have to go to Google Translate to translate somebody's language and then communicate with them, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Don't you think that would be great, Chris?
I completely agree. I've actually had a few people myself come into streams and they've spoke in like Italian, Spanish, French. So yeah. I've had to like sort of pause my game and then go and quickly grab my phone and sort of like look what they've said, type it in, and oh yeah, cool, and so it's a bit of a ball ache, really, isn't it? Sort of doing that yourself,
Right.
But I completely agree.
Now it doesn't solve the two-way problem because then the Italian, let's say, that's watching my stream, well, how are they I can understand what they say, but then maybe at least all I have to do is translate the answer instead of translate the question.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, one day they'll have a like an automatic subtitle tool, maybe. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? So you'll be talking and then 10 seconds later it translates what you said 10 seconds previously. So that'd be pretty cool, I think. But
shit, I think we've solved the problem, Chris. Let's email Amazon and be like, just turn on subtitles. Please do it.
I emailed Amazon to get a refund on something, and that took a bit of effort, I think, to get a response. So if we could get to them, it'd be perfect. But I think it's going to be a tough task getting to anyone in Amazon, I think. Right.
The funny thing is, I'll just comment on that, Chris, is these big corporations should probably consider that the time it takes, like, your refund, let's say it's $100. I'm just saying, pick a number. They probably spent $1,000 to just address and figure out whether you should get your refund back or not, right?
Pretty much.
They should embrace kind of a better way, I think.
I completely agree. Right, so on the flip side then, is there something that you do not like about Twitch/streaming?
Something I do not like about Twitch or streaming.
Yeah.
Is Twitch watching right now?
Hopefully, so you can tell them what you don't like.
Yeah, this is directly to Jeff. No. Okay. So, there is a drain that happens to Twitch streamers, and I think that Twitch should be more responsible to the streaming community about educating what is a healthy amount to stream, how to deal with difficult, toxic behavior on this platform. I think that many streamers are balancing their normal day-to-day and streaming, and there isn't like a support system to like help those people.
Yeah.
Monetary support, Chris, is not the only support that human beings need, right?
Completely.
The Twitch community is built. The good thing is that we take care of each other, and in the art community, that is a very strong voice. Especially in our community on the 40-Year-Old Painters channel, I make sure that we're all taking care of each other, checking in on each other, because there's nobody else to take care of each other.
Yeah.
But I think maybe Twitch can be more, Amazon/Twitch can be more active. Now, the council that we have, if you're familiar with what I'm talking about, is a step that we're in the right direction, but it needs quite a bit of refinement. Yeah,
I completely agree with you. It's another thing that I find as well with Twitch and support, then if you like, is so say you're a brand new streamer, okay, and you go onto Twitch and you're like, cool, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Right, okay, without a very good YouTube video, you're going to struggle to do something maybe like turn on that it records your videos. So I get a lot of people ask me, Chris, how do I save my videos, my recordings, my streams? I'm like, right, okay, so you've got to go into the settings and turn it on to save your VODs. And they're like, how do I do that? And I think to myself, I'm like, do you know what? I can't remember. It's not that easy. So I think a little more, make it a little bit easier to use, I think, is a good idea. So, because it is a bit tricky, you know. But
the one thing is like people just they dive right in.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the button to turn the stream on. Boom.
But yeah,
I'm streaming. There is a package that exists in the creator dashboard to help you, but it is not to the detail. I agree. Give me a checklist of the 10 things that I need as a starter streamer to make sure of. Okay, then that'll bring the population in.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. The more people we have on Twitch, the better. Like streaming, participating, everything, and not from a money. Like I'll say, Amazon would like to hear that, but I'm not representing the capital side. I'm representing the community, the engagement, the interaction, taking care of each other, helping people.
Yeah.
Second thing, actually, there's one more thing I would like to do.
Go for it.
To say, if Twitch made it very clear about how to set up donation streams a lot easier. Like, I don't know, I know there's certain things, but I think this platform should be better set up. That's part of the other thing I would want to do on this community is set up a charitable organization that is selected by the community, and they can choose to donate to that. I'm trying to figure out the semantics myself, but Twitch doesn't really.
No, I completely agree. I think they do they've offering a thing now. So if you're an affiliate, you get your monthly payout if you make if you make enough in a month. I think they've got an option now to donate maybe like, so say I've got let's talk in dollars. Say my payout is $197. There's an option now to round it up to $200 and donate that $3 to like their charity pot, if you like. But apart from that, there's nothing, I don't think. So yeah, I think it's something they need to work on as well, especially the way the world is now. You know, everyone needs a little bit of help. I think all these charities need it more. So I think I think you're correct there. Right, okay then. Wait, actually, you've got my wrong paper with me. Right, obviously you've touched on where your streaming name came from. So yourself, you're an affiliate. How long did it take you to become a Twitch affiliate?
Let's see. So November. In the beginning of the year, I'd say about I can check, but I would say maybe first week of January is when I saw that revenue was being generated.
Yeah.
So about 6 weeks.
That's awesome. That's really quick, to be fair.
It was I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I had 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and suddenly 50. And then people were coming back to, like, they're like, Mo, your spirit, we want to see more of your spirit. Which is wonderful. I think in the art community, unless you kind of have, let me just say, what a lovely surprise. I won't like try to make it bigger than what it is. It took about, let's say, 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's extremely quick, to be fair. From a personal point of view, it took me a best part of 15 months, I think. I wasn't actively trying. So at first for me, Twitch was for if I had a lot of packs on FIFA and my friends wanted to see me open them, I'd boot up Twitch on my console, do the packs and then turn it off. So it would be like 10 minutes worth of stream. You know, I wasn't a streamer, if you like. So actively trying, I think it took me about 6 months. I was slow as shit to begin with myself. So, but it wasn't my sort of goal, if that makes sense. I didn't have a dream of becoming a Twitch affiliate in mind, you know. It was one of them things. When it happened, I was like, oh, sweet, I'm an affiliate. I got something to shout about. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
it was fantastic. I think, Chris, it unfolded in the way that it was going to.
Yeah.
You didn't have a business plan, vision. You know, I want to be here.
Yeah.
I want this many followers. Like, it unfolded organically, Chris, which is
pretty
for
much.
You took however long it took.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much, and I enjoyed it all.
And the people that you have in your community are the genuine people because of that.
That's right. And I don't know if you're the same, but the first time I saw someone other than any of my friends, someone completely new and random, coming back to my stream, they were like, oh, hey again. I was like, Jesus Christ, someone actually enjoyed my stream enough to come back again. So it was just such a great feeling, you know. It's one of the best feelings you can get as a streamer, I think, when people come back.
It's lovely, Chris. Like, just sitting watching you fish. I think you also did GTA for a while. Like, I mean, it's relaxed. You have a good time. You engage your audience when things are allowing you to do so, and you've got a good spirit. People are going to come. Who doesn't want to be around that?
Exactly. I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Right. Okay. So after speaking about that, then, so my next question to you then. So I don't know if you have one, but what is your main goal then as a streamer? Do you have maybe an end goal or somewhere you want to be?
Okay. Wow. That's a hard-hitting question, Chris. Okay. How about this? I'll tell you the truth, okay? I've spent a lot of my life thinking about the future and not living the present when I was younger, and then thinking about the past as I'm older and not living the present.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm right now living the present.
Yeah.
And I'm going with the current. I'm enjoying my time here on Twitch. There's a wonderful community. And it's going to ebb and flow. But I'll always be true to a few things for this channel. Is I will do art to the best of my capability and to explore and inspire people to try new things. I want to build a community, and I have that ticker on my page, build the best damn community on Twitch, and I genuinely mean that. I want the best people, and I'm not talking about best in class, best in this, best in that. Caring, genuine people, gamers, artists, non-artists, build a community to take care of each other, because right now humankind is hurting quite a bit.
Yeah.
um, have fun. I want to just have fun.
Yeah.
Like there's numerous moments on here, and that I've just looked like a total ass and just laughed about it, and people troll me over it or enjoy the moment. And so that's the root, is the community part of it. And I want just people to pick up a pen and see the world, the artistic creative side. And this is part of the engineering and the science side of me. Like I'm very split. I have a very strong creative side and a very strong analytical side, and they're battling all the time. And you might see it in my art. Like I'm slicing things in real life all the time. How does this work? Why does this look that way? How can I write it down? How can I draw it this way?
Yeah.
There's a beautiful side of the creative human being that allows you to just see the world in a way that is different than before. And you have to work that skill. When I look at an object now, I look at it in a totally different way. When I look at an event in my life, good and or bad, I look at it at a different angle. I can see it from two angles rather than from one.
Yeah.
And nurturing that creative side of us is missing, I think, right now. Like, and I'm trying to be a champion of that. And I will say one, like, to follow up on that, is like, many of us are hurting right now, and that's okay. We have armor. We build very strong armor in life. And armor is great. It'll possibly stop a bullet, but it'll drown you in a lake. We've got to learn and understand what's going on inside. Look at the world maybe in a different light than what we believe is happening.
Yeah.
And understand our armor and maybe think about taking it off, making ourselves more nimble to the world, and actually seeing the world for what it can be.
That's incredible.
Sorry, I mean that, I'm sure that you're probably like, has Mo been like smoking something before this?
No,
this stream?
I actually, literally, I was zoned in on your face. Then I was literally watching this Discord call then, and I was literally looking at you. And I was like, do you know what? Every single word that's coming out is absolutely spot on. You know, so yeah, I completely agree with you, and I'm pretty sure most people who watch this will. You know, but. That's fantastic. So you're just basically enjoying your time on Twitch, loving having a nice community around you, and you don't really have maybe a goal as such then. So maybe like, oh, I want to reach 10,000 followers by the end of the year, or none of that stuff. You're just enjoying the now, if you like. That's great. I've never looked at it that way before. So I've always had a sort of target in mind for myself, stream-wise. So, but no, I don't care about my target. That's gone. Jesus Christ, you've opened my eyes, mate. Honest to God, you've opened my eyes a little bit. So, thank you for that. Right, okay. Before we wrap it up, then, so at the start of the podcast, I said maybe if you can sort of get a pen and paper and subconsciously draw something. I don't know if you've finished that up yet.
I mean, I started a sketch. I decided to, I'll ink this up and grab a picture of it, but I decided to draw you sitting on the Game of Thrones here.
That's awesome.
So we'll finish it up. We'll make it look like the Game of Thrones seat here.
That's incredible.
And sorry, I you know, when I started talking, I stopped drawing, and then you might have seen me pick up a pen and draw it, but I don't know if you can.
That's awesome. I got a little bit of the Rock's people eyebrow going on there as well, I think.
You picked it up.
That's
incredible.
I put that in intentionally. That's incredible.
That's the Rock's eyebrow. So I'm so glad you picked that up.
That's incredible. I love that. Let me show you something actually. So I don't know who this guy is, right? This guy just randomly got in touch with me on Twitter, and he was like, "Yo, I've watched one of your streams and I've drawn a picture of you." I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." But then I was like, "So can I see it?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." So let me just find that quickly. I was absolutely blown away by this. Right, someone who doesn't know me has decided to just randomly draw a picture of me. Let me find that. Where is it?
People that might not know Chris, He's a pro wrestling referee in the UK, and we had a lovely stream where we were just going on and on about WrestleMania and being nostalgic about wrestling.
It was awesome.
And that's why I put the people's eyebrow here, in reference to our wrestling.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed actually. I was looking, as soon as you sort of showed it and zoomed it in, held it a bit closer, I was like, whoa, I got the people's eyebrow. That's awesome, man. Honestly, God, it's brilliant.
I was gonna draw some sort of wrestling motif, but then you're like, oh, just do it totally random. So I'm like, well, he's an announcer. Let's put him on a Game of Thrones. He's in charge here.
That's fantastic. So this is what someone drew of me, okay? I don't know if you can see that. Is the camera picking it up?
So what? No, it's not. Can you reduce the brightness on your camera?
Yeah, my phone. Yeah, of course I can.
Sorry, on your phone. That might help.
Right. How about that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic, dude.
So yes.
You were doing a game stream, obviously. That looks exactly like you.
Some random guy just sent me that. Do you know what? Right? I looked at it. My dad passed away 10 years ago. I looked at it, I thought it was a drawing of my dad with a controller. Because my dad had a big beard. I sometimes forget I got a beard, right? So I looked at it, I was like, oh my god, this guy knows my dad. And then I was like, hang on. No, shit, that's me. I got a controller in my hand. But
wow.
Just mind blown. Completely
it's
mind
beautiful.
blown.
Like somebody would just share that with you. That's fantastic.
Yeah. He's made the effort, to draw it and then scan it onto his computer or whatever he's done. And just sent that to me. I was like, dude, thank you so much. I was like, do I owe you any money or anything? He's like, no, just a sort of subject I wanted to draw. I was like, are you sure? I don't mind. I'll give you some cash if I need to. But he was like, no, thank you for letting me draw you. I was like, well, you didn't ask, but awesome, thanks very much. So
see, and you got a gift from a true artist there, Chris, because a true artist realizes all the value of the art that they do is in the process. The end result is irrelevant. So by him giving you that drawing, whatever, you immediately thought pro bono, like I owe this person something, him or her.
Yeah.
By them doing that, they exemplified kind of what I feel about art. Is like the whole value is in the process, the creativity. The end result is irrelevant. Yeah. That's why you should be confident. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be perfect. And the beautiful thing is, you got a nice thing that you enjoyed, and you should ask them if they're okay with making it your logo, because it would be a perfect logo for you.
I've actually spoke to him and I said, dude, do you do maybe digital illustrations, maybe something like that you could sort of make a logo for me? He said he does, but he's a little bit busy right now, so he said he'll definitely try and make something like that for me in the future, so that was pretty cool as well. So hopefully I'll have a nice new logo pretty soon of that. So, but I was just completely blown away. I woke up one day, looked at my phone, I had a random message request on Twitter of someone who I didn't know, and he was like, yo, thanks very much, yo, thank you, I really enjoyed your stream the other night when you were playing, I was actually streaming SpongeBob, the new SpongeBob remastered game.
Nice.
Some of your commentary was fun.
On it. It looks great.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But you were saying some of your commentary made me laugh. I'm an artist. I hope you don't mind, but I drew a picture of you. I was like, oh, what cool. I was like, oh, can I see it then? And he showed me, and I was completely mind blown. So insane. That's the power of art, I think, is it?
It's powerful.
The power of art. I completely agree with you. It just blew my mind. So, yeah, but. Right, okay. I actually have one last question for you, actually, about art itself. Do you?
You bet.
Obviously, you've got your work that you do. You've got a lot of it there to show. Do you commission any art? Do you sell your work?
Not right now, and I'm afraid, to be honest with you, Chris, in that I'm afraid that if I become a commissioned artist, I may take the love out of what I'm doing away from doing it.
Okay.
Right. I honest, honest to God answered, or to whoever, to whatever you believe in. I would feel better doing a piece of art and sending it in the mail than getting a paycheck for it.
That's insane. That's incredible. So what you're saying then essentially is, obviously you don't want to do it then as a commission / job, maybe, because it might sort of become another day, another piece, maybe, and you'll sort of get sick of it then, yeah?
Yep, it'll be like a mortgage.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at it, you know, I don't want to have any more of that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in the spirit of that's a hard challenge, because in the spirit of saying the value of it is not the end result, you should be able to give that away, right?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like, if the value that I get out of an artist is in the process, not the end result, then this piece of paper or this canvas has no value to me anymore. Yeah. So I should be able to give it to somebody who can enjoy it, right? That's something I need to think about. Would I like to be in a situation where art supports my ability to live? I don't know. That's a scary question.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would lose my heart for it or not.
Maybe you would, yeah.
Like I said, I'm living in the present. You know, I will take, you know, it's come up a few times. I've been asked to do a commission, and I'm like, well, let's talk about it first. I'd be happy to do something for you, and then you can figure out what the value is. But you kind of what's the right term? Like, I didn't see that question coming.
Yeah.
You know, there's simple things like maybe coming up with a intellectual property image that I can sell without concern as stickers or prints.
Yeah.
Yes, I think maybe that would be a possibility. But commissioned art, if somebody said, go ahead and do what comes out of your mind, here's some compensation for it, that would be an ideal situation, because then I can get what's coming out of me, right? Or if somebody wants to draw something in my style in homage to something else for them, I would love to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not interested in making a multi-billion-dollar, multi-thousand-dollar, if you know me, if you're on my stream. In fact, I even took donations off my stream, because I don't want people coming in under the impression that I want to make money off this. Yes, it's nice to be able to pay for my art supplies. That's totally appreciated.
Yeah.
But if the day comes where I might change my career and become a full-time artist, then it's different. Then I need to live, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So right now you're happy as you are. You have no plans to sort of make it into a business. Then you're just sort of happy doing your thing, and people can watch you and enjoy themselves. Pretty much. That's all
I want.
That's fantastic, man. And that just shows. I think that, to me, that just shows how humble of a guy you are, how nice of a guy you are. That is why people watching this and on YouTube should just go and drop more follow right now. He's part of a great community that he's built. He's got a great Discord full of, again, fantastic people. So you should definitely go and check him out right now. Honest to God, it's worth it, I promise you.
Thank you, Chris.
No, you're very welcome, man. But I'd like to thank you for being a great guest on the podcast today. It's episode number 8, so we're actually rifling through these podcasts. I think I might slow it down a bit and maybe do one a week instead of 2, because my YouTube is just like literally getting longer and longer and longer. So I think we're gonna have to maybe look at slowing it down a bit. But yeah, thank you for being a great guest.
Like, bottom of my heart, take care of yourself, Chris. Figure out what's a sustainable enjoyment on Twitch. You know, you'll figure out your schedule.
Of course, yeah.
And whatever we can do on our community to help you, just let us know. And thank you very much. I had a genuine hoot I was looking forward to this the whole week. I'm like, oh, I get to talk to Chris. This should be fun. And I came in organically. I didn't have anything planned out. So,
Yeah. Did you have you been on a podcast before?
No.
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 Well, that's something off your bucket list. Then I think there's something gone off that maybe. I think
First, Chris.
that's
It's
awesome.
gonna be memorable.
So maybe in a couple of years' time, when you've done like 25, 30,000 podcasts, everyone will be like, "Oh, I remember that guy. He was on Chris's podcast fucking 20 years ago." But no, generally, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a great guest. Thank you to everybody for watching as well.
Yes.
And the great questions as well. There's some perfect questions there today, actually. Our next podcast is on Tuesday evening. I cannot remember the name of the guest, so apologies for that one. But for now, go and check out Mo. He's also on Instagram. Is it The40YearOldPainter on Instagram as well? Perfect. I will link that up on my tweet after this later on, and on the YouTube video as well for you. So yeah, thanks for watching, Mo. Thanks for being fantastic. And we will catch you all on Tuesday. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
I got you. Take care. Bye bye. So are we still